Correspondence? Nothing? Attorney's report?
Two items to report on this evening. The first one is an amendment to the city sign ordinance. The city planning consultant and administration have requested an amendment to the city sign ordinance, primarily text amendments to change certain provisions that deal with signs for the local businesses, has to deal with the number of signs and location of signs, so on and so forth. They also want to do some clarification of some language in the sign ordinance as well that apparently has proved somewhat difficult to apply over the years. It's also been suggested that we do a legal review of the sign ordinance at the same time. The sign ordinance is over 10 years old. It does periodically have to go under a legal review, and it has to be updated to keep current with changes in the law. It does obviously implicate First Amendment and free speech issues, and there obviously are, over the last 10 years, have been a number of legal opinions that have come out that would warrant some level of amendments, truly legal amendments to the city sign ordinance. So the idea is kind of bundle that together, do the text amendments and the legal amendments at the same time. Try to avoid any kind of duplication of effort there. So the recommendation is that to have the planning consultant work on the non-legal text amendments to the sign ordinance. Then I would do the legal review and update. So we would need I guess, I'd be looking for a motion from the council to go along with that recommendation.
This would be first reading?
Well, there's no actual amendment to the sign ordinance that's before council yet. We got to do the actual text amendments in the review, then we would bring it forward and do the first reading. Yeah, we haven't actually started the process of amending it.
So you want a motion to get you going?
Right, correct.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Is there any discussion or questions of Ben? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The second item is a confidential attorney-client communication regarding some pending litigation in the federal court. I've provided you with a written update in terms of what's going on with the litigation. There's no council action that's required at the present time. It's just to give you an update, to let you know what's going on. So I'm not requesting an executive session, but if anybody else would like to go into executive session to talk about the case further, certainly you can do that, and I would be available to talk about the case in more detail and answer any questions you might have.
I don't think it's necessary.
Does anyone have questions that want to go into executive session? Okay, I think we're all set then, ma'am. Thank you. Unfinished reading, or unfinished business, I think this one should have been tabled as well, am I correct?
I think you did, I think that covered them all.
Yeah, we covered them all, okay. So I'll take them all. Just making sure we had covered the whole thing. Okay. I guess the next item would be number 3 then. Boss Engineering.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The council requested that I receive a proposal from Boss Engineering to jump on top of the DDA stormwater analysis that they're doing. So this is the proposal before you. So I would need a motion from the council to have them go forward. This is for $44,000, and they'll evaluate the rest of the stormwater system in the city. The entire thing.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion at this time to allocate this money, $44,000.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support it.
Okay, we've got a motion, we got support. Any questions, comments regarding?
Where does money come from? This comes from general fund revenues.
And my question, I noticed that the video surveillance, what is the estimated cost of video surveillance? And because that's part of, I think that's part of our a grand plan. I think that's not included according to this.
Yes, and I don't have a proposal exactly, and we're not even sure how much of it we need to do for the video, because the sewer video inspections are being done by the wastewater treatment plant, right? So we're not sure that we're gonna need that much, it kinda depends when we get down into the catch basin. In theory, the catch basin, they can kind of shine a flashlight and kind of look through there, but if it's blocked, that's when they might have to bust through to see what's going on, right, if it ends up being blocked with something. So we won't know that until they first get out there and do their field work. And, if they have to do something, we'll come back to you. We're hoping not, we're hoping they don't. They will be working with our DPW as well on this, so that should help, reduce some of the costs.
And this was also discussed at the DDA, I believe, with the,
It was, the DDA, threw this out that they were gonna do the downtown and wanted to make sure that I had come to you with the fact that we were already engaging them to do the downtown, and so you could direct me to get an additional proposal.
okay,
This is part of the big infrastructure,
excuse me, I didn't hear
this
that.
is part of the big infrastructure analyzation. So
Correct.
this is involved.
Everything you're beginning to hear is about the bigger infrastructure issue. I mean, everything from the lighting, I mean, you know, the infrastructure issue. The infrastructure begins with City Hall. You know, the savings that wasn't mentioned earlier at City Hall is that they were, for years, have planned to go build a multi-million-dollar facility somewhere else. And this council made a decision some years ago, the majority of this council is still here, to rehabilitate this campus, this facility, so they didn't go spend $8 million somewhere else. And there's at least 2 or 3 proposals that are floating around, and they almost nearly did it. I guess they had public meetings and everything like that, and there is a tremendous savings of dollars by rehabilitating. But if you're gonna rehabilitate, you gotta do it right. Otherwise, you end up having a decrepit facility, and then you do go spend $8 million. So it's actually a saving. All of it's infrastructure related. Every single thing we're doing, the proposal earlier in our budget meeting, or the discussion, was about rehabbing some of the low lying areas and roads and stuff like that. That ties in with what's going down, because at some point, you gotta talk about who's paying. But that's been ignored, because it's easy to ignore it. It's easy not to vote. It's easy to look some other way and then blame the past council meetings. Your job was to face this to the future, and it's gonna be tough. But you can't keep saying no. You know, our job is to put it on the table. That's what we're doing. And we're trying to do it in an efficient way. All of it is related to the big infrastructure picture, any way you've got it. Downtown, city facilities, over in the Gamma area, over behind the Sable-Lot Plaza, that all of that's tied together, and it's been neglected. Much of this has been neglected for years. I'm sure the people here didn't call it neglect. They just said they didn't have the money to fix it. Well, now you don't have time or money to ignore it. It's going to cost you a lot more. We don't deal with it and have it on our table. So it's all infrastructure related.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is number 4, resolution to rescind separate healthcare fund. Before asking for a motion, you want to give us a little history and detail here?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There was a resolution, by resolution in 2000, the council set up a retiree healthcare fund. It wasn't actually a separate trust or anything, it's just a separate recording of your money. I have a roads fund, I have a drug forfeiture fund, we have all these different funds, and we have a retiree healthcare fund. That one was not set up by management, it was set up by the council. And they did set it up under a public act. Upon review of both your city manager and your city attorney, it was explained that I could just eliminate that fund by resolution of council. There's no money left in there. The city was contributing $75 a paycheck for the employees, but there's, that money's all used up in that trust fund, so there's no, it's just extra bookkeeping work for me now.
Housekeeping items. I mean.
Yeah, so if we rescind it, the money's all coming from the general fund revenues now anyway, so.
Okay. Then I would entertain a motion at this time to approve the resolution to rescind the separate healthcare fund.
I'll make that motion. That makes
I'll
total
second that.
sense.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Number 5 is the resolution for the charitable gaming license for the Lakes Community Foundation.
And staff's recommending you approve that, that's,
You were here last year too.
I think they're over at the bowling alley, and that's the farmhouse folks, I think you all know
Yep.
Right.
who that is, so,
I think it's something new and they're coming before council now.
Is this a one-shot deal or ongoing?
I think it's for a year, Bob, because they were talking about so many times for 4 quarters. So, I believe it's for a year.
I'll make a motion to approve that resolution.
Is there support?
2017-22.
I'll support it.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The last item is the proposed resolution regarding CARE. This is Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month.
Yes, we talked about this last year, so this is just reoccurring just for monthly awareness, just to let everyone know what's going on. So they sent us the information about the neglect and suffering children in the communities, so it's just awareness for our residents.
I'll entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there support?
Support.
Okay. We have a motion, we have support. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, that being the last item,